What's up, you guys, and welcome back to another video. I'm really happy to be here and have you back. But if you're new, welcome period. My name is Sasha and this is my space. I just made myself my green tea, of course, just to start my day. And I was sitting here looking at these like little, what do you call them? Comic strip photos that were taken at my cousin's wedding. She had a photo booth, and at the end, you know how you get the strips of like 3 or 4 pictures? We all did those. Just the bond and the sisterhood that she had in attendance at her wedding from the friends that she's known, some of them since like middle school, some of them more recently due to like meeting at work. It's just so beautiful to see. It just really made me think about friendships and just the friendships in my life and how much that has changed and shifted this year. And that's really what I wanted to talk about in today's video, because I think friendship bonds are a topic that doesn't really get as much attention as like romantic bonds. But before we get into it, I actually want to show you guys the little photos that we took. They are so beautiful and so cute. Like, look at us. We're so cute. I think this one here is probably my favorite. Just all of us surrounding her, like how happy she looks. It was such a magical moment, and it was really special to see all of her girlfriends rallying together to celebrate her that day. And even apart from her girlfriends, a lot of her guy friends were there too in attendance. It was just such a nice thing to see, everyone coming together to celebrate her. When we form connections and friendships with people, they really are such a beautiful, unique bond. I think even amongst a friend group, every person has a different relationship with somebody else that's different from another person, you know? Like no two people have the same connection, even if all of them are close. And I think these things are really special, but can also be at times complicated. Since freshman year of high school, my friend group has pretty much looked the same, and that has transferred into my adult life. I feel like up until most recently, my friendships, or at least the people that I spend most of my time with, looks totally different now than it did at the beginning of the year. People change, people grow, or sometimes people don't change and don't grow. These things that we experience ultimately, I think, either move us closer to somebody or pull us further away, and nothing necessarily has to happen. It's just sometimes people grow apart. People want different things. I think me standing in the truth now of what it is that I know I want in my future has made me have to be more intentional about who I'm hanging around, and when I'm hanging around them, what are they doing? You know, like making key notes to myself about whether or not this aligns. And a lot of things just weren't aligning. So I really had to take a step back and focus solely on me and just make some tough decisions. But I ultimately feel that when you are intentional, the universe rewards you with people that, like I said, align with your true values, with what you want out of life, what you want for your future. And you rebuild new communities. My community now looks totally different from what it did at the beginning of the year. And while I'm super grateful for this growth and this change, you know, you can't help but welcome change because change is inevitable. Some parts of it may also just really fucking suck. For example, I had a friend who was my absolute best friend, like my family since high school. This is someone who every once in a while we would have a disagreement, but there was nothing that could break this bond. When I tell you nothing, like this was my ride or die. I would have done anything for this person. This year, I saw a different side of them that for me and what I am trying to do for myself doesn't align. It's not something that I can just bypass, and I don't want to say forgive, because I do think at some point forgiveness slowly bleeds into like contentment, right? Like you can't just live with this anger harboring in your heart. That's not helpful to anybody. But what was said and what was done really made me rethink whether or not we were friends at all to begin with. Because if it takes this for you to speak to me a certain way, act a certain way, you're not taking into consideration the value of this friendship. You don't value me. I think I'll call it that, like just moving away from where I wasn't valued. And it was really tough because this is a 15+ year friendship, you know, like it's really sucky. At the same time, the moment I did that, I started getting closer to other people in my life who I'm starting to figure them out more and go, hey, like they want the same things I do. We have the same interests. They like the same kinds of art, the same kinds of music. They're exposing me to these things that are helping me to grow as a person, as a beautiful being, like, and they celebrate these things, and we're both in alignment with where we're trying to go. We're both on the same level, and that part is beautiful. But something had to leave in order for something to be received. Hey, that's a bar. But y'all know what I mean. Sometimes the universe makes space for us in ways that we might not see coming, in ways that we might not necessarily want, but it's ultimately for our own good. And it doesn't always have to be that somebody did something. Sometimes you just, like I said, you start noticing things and you figure out that, like, hey, I don't align with this. This isn't what I want. This isn't what I'm trying to do, where I'm trying to go. I need to take a step back and reflect and see if this is really for me. There are some friendships that made me realize that as well. Like, nothing was necessarily done, but I just don't align with this. Asking myself the tough questions and then making the tough decisions to focus more so on myself and stop pouring so much into things that just don't align with where I'm trying to go. And it's not a bad thing, it's not a shady thing, it's just, this is life, you know? Like, people outgrow people, people evolve, people change. And like I said, sometimes people don't evolve and people don't change, but ultimately you have to focus on you and what it is that you're trying to do. And I think as long as you're living in your purpose and in your truth and doing good by you, you'll slowly start to come into contact with the people who are meant to be a part of your journey. That's what's happening with me now. So, like, I can't really complain because while things are shifting here, things are getting way, way, way better over here. We don't always get to keep every single friendship we've had, but I do think that in the end, we end up with the friendships that we're supposed to have. So the only thing left to do is to just be thankful for the direction that my life is going and the direction that my friendships are going. And then also just continue to ask that things be illuminated to me, that things be, or people be removed who aren't a part of this part of my journey. And that's okay. And like I said, it's not shade. It's simply, I'm moving in a different direction, and that's okay. What I've come to learn about myself is the same things that I value in a romantic relationship, I value in a friendship. There are certain things that I also will not tolerate. I will not tolerate somebody who is upset and chooses to say certain things to me. I will not tolerate somebody who doesn't support me. I will not tolerate someone who, like, can't keep, I don't want to say their emotions in check, but if you are the kind of person who can't take 5 seconds to think about your language towards me when you're upset in the moment, we don't need to be friends. I would never say something in the moment that I don't mean to someone just because I'm angry or just because I'm frustrated. That's just not who I am. And that's not to say that I don't get angry or frustrated, but I take a second to think about the next step. And people who don't are just not for me. So that's a lesson that I had to learn this year, a tough lesson. And I think another lesson that I had to learn this year in regards to friendships is time does not equate to respect and value. Just because you are friends with someone for a long period of time doesn't mean that the friendship should continue. And I have to be honest and say I'm not at all somebody who's like slow to trust people. Like, if anything, I'm the total opposite. I love everybody from jump. You know, like, I give my whole heart, all of me. I mean, that's how I've always been. That's how I'm always going to be. And for me, if anything, I consider that my superpower, is that I am so open and so whole always. But I am learning discernment. And I am learning that I can be that way as long as my eyes are open to how other people choose to be, you know, and whether or not that aligns with me. It's really all just about alignment, y'all, like just alignment. This is also just a reminder to, like, if I have any younger viewers who are watching this video, things change, friendships change, you know, and you should never tolerate someone being in your life just because they've been there for a while, or just because like you're scared to let go, you're scared to start over. Don't be afraid of that, because you're gonna have to do that in so many different areas anyway. Always honor yourself, always stay true to yourself, and stay true to your values and your standards, because staying true to your standards is really how you cultivate a community around you that is there for you, that will uplift you, that will encourage you and support you and be positive. You don't want to find yourself one day surrounded by people who are just doing things that you are not okay with, but because you weren't paying attention, or because you said, oh, like they've been around for a while, you just allowed it, and you didn't have that reflection period and take a step back and say, you know, does this really align with me? Is this really what I want? Always continue asking yourself, does this align? Especially in regards to friendships. These are the friendships where respect is a pivotal part of the foundation. And I think that is super duper important. I think it is necessary. I just know that moving forward in my friendships, the friendships that I still have and the friendships that I will continue to make and cultivate, this is going to be something that I really think deeply about and take into consideration, and make sure that I'm doing my due diligence and doing right by me in regards to my friendships. And to my friends who may stumble across this video, the people who have just had my back through it, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for all of your support through the years. Like, I love you guys. To the people that I'm no longer friends with, I love you too. And I wish you nothing but the best. So with that being said, I'm gonna drink this green tea and I think go outside and just get some sun. I really hope that all of you have a beautiful rest of your week. I hope that your friendships bring you nothing but love and light and health and wealth, because I think that is the whole point, right? Like, you don't want friendships that tear you down. You want friendships that build you up. And I hope that your friendships continue to build you up. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.